Look, I get it. You may be a young person looking at leadership, looking at ministry, thinking, man, Benny, this thing is big. It's intimidating. It's daunting. I don't know if I can take all of this on. What if I make a mistake? Well, on today's video, we're going to talk about the biggest error in leadership. What's up, everybody? I'm Benny Contreras, and this channel is all about building young leaders for ministry because I believe the church needs young leaders to step up right now, and I also believe there's power in that next generation of leaders. So there's a lot to go over when we talk about leadership, a lot of principles, a lot of ideas, a lot of things we find in scripture, a lot of things that we find in other books that can help us in our leadership. But today I want to talk about something that is very much misunderstood. In fact, an error about leadership. And here it is. We believe that in order to be a great leader, you need to have authority. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble today, but that is in fact false. You don't need authority to be a great leader today. Let me explain by giving you some statements and let's see if they're true or false. Statement number one, there is only one leader, one person in charge, and everybody else just waiting around, waiting for their turn to lead. False. If you're being called to leadership, a lot of times we feel, well, if I'm not the lead pastor, if I'm not the youth pastor, I can't make any decisions. So pretty much I'm just kind of waiting around until it's my turn. But you have to understand that if you're thinking like that, then you are wasting your time. God did not put you where you're at right now just to wait around for when you're the leader. Statement number two, the authority to lead and the opportunity to lead always go hand in hand. False. See, we think that authority to lead and opportunity to lead need to go hand in hand. They're a package deal. They always come together. And what happens is that we feel that the right time to lead, the right opportunity to lead is when we have the authority to lead. And that's just simply not true. Leaders lead when they are needed. And sometimes we don't have the authority to lead. But if we have the influence to lead, then that is a great opportunity to lead. Statement number three, using authority will always give you the results that you want. False. And although authority will sometimes give you the results that you're looking for, in the long run, it is not beneficial. People who wield the authority gun, it's usually for a negative reason. If you have to remind people, especially people that you work with, what your position is and what your title is, it usually is not beneficial for you. We have to remember that authority, although will sometimes come with leadership, it is not always required of leadership. In fact, authority is largely irrelevant. Yeah, I just said that. Leaders lead when they're needed. Now you may say, well, how could you say that? Are you saying that we don't need authority? Are you saying we shouldn't respect authority? Please don't get it twisted. Authority is important. And yes, we as believers have to respect and honor authority. God blesses us when we do so. But what I'm saying is, to be a great leader today, you don't have to have authority. You don't have to have a position. You don't have to have a title. All you need is influence. Now let me give a few more statements about influence and let's see whether those are true or false. Statement number one, influence will always be the currency of leadership. Yepers. But it's always going to be that thing that's going to keep the leadership healthy, moving forward, growing, heading towards the right direction. Statement number two, leaders who leverage influence are more effective than leaders who leverage authority. Yeesh. Influence will always outpace authority. See, influence plays an important part in our leadership. In fact, it is something that you cannot lead without. Statement number three, positional leadership does not equate to effective leadership. Yeesh. We need to influence, we need to have influence with those who we are leading. It's not about the title you have, not about the name on the plaque, not about what it says, not even about the ranking that you have. What matters is the influence. Many times we have leaders who are placed in high titles, high positions, who wield their authority. They use their authority as a thumb to put pressure on the team to make things happen, to get results. But I'm telling you right now, although in the short term, it may be effective, in the long term, it is no good. Nobody wants to serve a leader who uses their authority against them. Now you may say, well, Benny, that can't be true because Jesus often shared his authority. He often showed and shared with his voice, telling people that he was the Son of God, that he was from heaven, that God was with him, that he was empowered with the Spirit. Isn't that not using his authority? But the truth is that Jesus never shoved it down anyone's throat. In fact, he never really used his authority to get results that he wanted. He always used influence influence to be able to be effective in his ministry. In Matthew chapter 20, verse 25 to 28, Jesus talks about leaders who use their authority. But Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many." See, even Jesus, God in the flesh, the Son of God who came down to earth, came with the intention to serve, came with the intention that it is not about his authority. In fact, he was going to humble himself from the position, from the title that he has, to be able to influence humanity, to be able to influence the history of the world, to be able to influence God's kingdom on earth. That is the same model that we should take as leaders. It's not about your authority. If you're not the leader of something, if you don't have any kind of title, maybe you're not officially part of the ministry team, but God is giving you abilities to lead right where you're at. And it's all about influence. Now, here's another truth that you have to understand, is that influence takes more time to develop than authority. Honestly, it takes a longer time to be able to develop influence with people and be able to invest in that, pour into that. It's a lot easier to just get authority from an appointment, getting hired on a certain job at a certain position. It's a lot easier to do that than to grow influence. But in the long run, influence is going to be more fruitful. You're going to get back a bigger reward. And when it comes down to it, positions, titles, authority even, they all have their expiration. We're not the leaders all the time. There's going to be seasons where we're not the ones in charge. The key is, how's your influence? If you have a great influence, you will always be an effective leader. And this is a big misconception about leadership, because we see the way the world looks at leadership, but God's kingdom is flipped upside down. And all of a sudden, you're looking at the leader being the one at the bottom, really investing, pouring into, influencing the rest in the triangle, and leading up rather than leading down. That is an important thing to think about in our ministry, in our leadership. Always look at how you can lead up, not how you can lead down. If you want to be an effective leader, authority is not going to do it. Authority is often in ways to pressure people into doing things, where influence is encouraging and empowering people to do things. This has completely turned my world upside down. I wish I had this book like 10 years ago. Get it today. How to Lead When You're Not in Charge by Clay Scroggins. Trust me, you won't regret it. I hope this blesses you guys today. I hope that you are encouraged, you are empowered. It helps you grow and mature in your calling, in your leadership, in the ministry that God is calling you to. And I love you guys, praying for you guys. And until next time, take care.
He's in this video now.